Hello! In today's lecture, we will be looking at construction, grading, and drainage. Construction, grading, and drainage. We'd like to explain the purpose for grading, describe the purpose and the process of grading and drainage system installation, distinguish between surface and subsurface drainage, and describe those advantages and disadvantages of each. Articulate typical minimum and maximum slope for paved, turf, planted, and parking areas. Further describe the negative consequences of poorly graded or drained landscape designs. Give you state safety guidelines for working with large landscaping equipment, including skid steers, tractor backhoe, excavators, and similar equipment. The purpose of grading. This is to ensure the base of the slope is level with a specified slope for landscaping and garden design improvement. Also helps to improve with the drainage system, protects from common erosion and runoff. When this grading is done well, you won't even notice that you have done grading in the landscaping. It is a foundational item that needs to be done, and when it's done correctly, the design will flow smoothly. Landscape grading is leveling the site for specific elements. From your site analysis drawings, you will know whether you are working with a plan that is in the country, in a city, with homeowners, a small area, municipal, whatever, but this will help you to know how to go about designing and grading your area to meet the specification for your site. It is very important in the grading that before you do any digging, mark your utility lines with brightly colored flags. Call and get a permit to help you as you go along. They will let you know exactly where those utility lines are. Identify your drainage area, start your digging, level the ground, and create a downward slope. This is also done in smaller areas for driveway, patios, paths, or stairs. The grading is very important. You want to grade in such a way that you pull the water away from the house to prevent erosion. And any surface water drainage, you want to take care of it before your construction starts. It may be a very expensive situation, but it is the best thing to do so you do not have to go back and fix problems that will be even more costly. Slopes. Here are some typical comparison of the horizontal and vertical measurements of a slope for paved, turf, planted, and parking areas. You want to make sure that you have at least 2 feet of rise over 100 feet. A very comfortable slope to work with. Outdoor paved surface should be sloped with a minimum of 2% slope or 2 feet of rise over 100 feet. Your driveway should be less than 15% grade, which means that it should not rise more than 15 feet over a distance of 100 feet. Flat driveways, on the other hand, should be built up slightly in the middle so water runoff on either sides. A typical and minimum slope for turf areas. Turf areas shall have a slope of no more than 3:1 or no less than 1%. A 2% minimum slope is desirable. Areas with slopes steeper than that, which is 3:1, must be planted with suitable ground covers or construction materials that are specifically designed to control erosion within the landscape. Typical minimum and maximum slope for parking and planted areas. These slopes for walkways should not exceed more than 5% unless unavoidable. Slopes greater than 5% leads to the construction of ramps. The maximum cross slope should be 2% If possible, avoid steps and walkways. Where steps are necessary, make certain to close the walls of the riser and treads to make a smooth transition to planted areas on either side of the steps if grass is planted. Parking areas or large entrance plazas should have slopes of 1% minima and 5% maxima. In this chart, we will look at the typical minima and maxima slope for parking and planted areas. To find the grade of a given area, you want to divide the rise by the length. So take a look at this chart and other areas that you will be working with in your landscape and come up with the information you need speedily. There are lots of tools out there. We talked about computer-aided designs that will give you information instantly on the spot. You'll have a software program that will help you to calculate slopes. Take advantage of those tools out there. Sloped landscape plans. There are negative consequences of poorly graded or drained landscape designs. Slope for paved area that are steeper than 2:1 may require looking into appropriate solution such as terracing or planting, or where access for lawnmowers and other maintenance equipment can be operated. Paved area adjacent to buildings with a minimum of 2% slope that does not drain away from the structure to a curb line will bring in another sort of drainage problem that could be negative for the houses or the surface runoff. How do you solve those problems? This is what the landscaper is up against. In order for you to get your slope properly done, you have these very large equipment that will make the work easy. The skid steers, tractors, backhoe, excavators, and similar equipment. But follow the state safety guidelines carefully. Make sure you have your license for operating these equipments. In summary, grading in the landscape is a foundational item. If well done, you won't even notice the grading. If it is not done properly, it does not drain away properly from the structure or area where there's a problem. Instead, it will provide a surge of surface water overflow, and this will give landscaping a very bad name. This is why it is so important to get your site analysis done. The site analysis will help you to understand the problem from the onset, and you will work towards a solution. And getting a solution will help you to solve this problem within good time, and you will save a lot of money and time on the job. So that's all for today's lecture. Thank you very much for listening. I hope to be with you next time. Goodbye.